Hey, this is Cardinal. I want to welcome you to the Creekbank Podcast. We're glad that you joined us today on April Fool's Day. Now, before we get to two wonderful April Fool's stories, I want to remind you that you can follow us, YouTube here, podcasts at Spotify, on two of our Facebook pages, our blog at creekbank.net. There's all kind of ways you can learn about what's going on. I've always loved being a prankster. Now, I learned at the foot of the great master, my Uncle Bill, my dad's younger brother. Especially when Uncle Bill was young. He loved playing pranks, especially on my sisters and I and my cousins. And he was the master of it. And so I learned a lot about him. And then secondly, I learned about pranks from Willard Mahaffey. Now, Willard Mahaffey, as he was known at the camp as Uncle Willard or Uncle Willie, worked at the camp for many years in Dry Creek, and I was his sidekick, and he taught me a lot about how to do a lot of mechanical things, but he also taught me how to have a good picking, pranking time. Now, you may not know it, but I love a good prankster. Now, before I get into telling you these, I want to go over the rules of pranking. First of all, you never do something that's going to upset somebody. A prank is meant to be fun, and the person you do it to should laugh, and you should laugh too. But it's never meant to scare someone. I'll give you a good example. Never do a prank that has anything to do with a snake, a real snake or a rubber snake. I was at a men's retreat one time, and somebody killed a copperhead right after supper on Friday night. And as a joke, they stuck it across the doorway going to the men's lodging room. One of the guys stepped right on it, and he went crazy. First of all, he went crazy with fear. He had a very healthy fear of snakes. And then we got over being scared, he got angry. And you know what? It nearly killed the whole spirit of that retreat. So there's no way pranks ought to be mean-spirited, or put fear into people. Now, let me tell you the second rule of pranking. If you do a prank, you're going to get 3 of them pulled back on you. I can tell you that's the truth. So if you can't take it, don't dish it out. And when it does come back to you, you should laugh the best of all. I've had amazing pranks pulled on me because I'm known as a prankster, and I've just learned to laugh at them. I believe you'll laugh at this story here. And the first story, this happened on an actual April Fool's Day, and it was when I was a principal at East Beauregard. Now, I don't know how I had time being assistant principal and still doing all these pranks, but we found time to do it. You know what? I think it added a lot to the morale of our school. One of my favorite people to work with of all time was Glenda Hagan. She taught at East Beauregard her whole career, and she was just an excellent teacher, but just a lot of fun to be around, and she liked to prank. So one April Fool's Day, I decided to get her. Now, my co-conspirators were my friends in the office, Carolyn and Bonnie. But I don't remember if I told them what it was about. On a piece of paper, though, I wrote down for Miss Hagan, message for Miss Hagan, call 318-441-6810 and ask for Mr. Fox. Miss Hagan came into the office, and I was hiding between the door in my office, and I heard her. First I said, I don't know anybody in Alexandria by the name of Mr. Fox. It's 318. I don't even know anybody that's not in 337. But finally she dialed the phone. I couldn't hear all of it, but here's what transpired. There's an answer, and the person said, Alexandria City Zoo. And Miss Hagan, who was very gullible, said, I'm calling for Mr. Fox. And the guy on the other end of the line said, ma'am, it's April Fool's Day, and you wouldn't believe how many people have called asking for different animals. You have been pranked. And here's the best part of the story. She didn't have to look around. She screamed, Kurt Isles, where are you at? She knew she'd been had. But you know what? She got back on me a bunch of times. The second one may be my favorite prank of all, and it was right around April's Fool's Day. And we had a bunch of construction workers working at the school. And they were in and out of the school using the bathrooms and doing stuff. So one morning when I got there real early, even before the custodians were there, I went in the men's stall, the one stall in the men's restroom, I took an old pair of my rubber boots. I really let it get muddy. I stood those boots up, and then I put a broomstick in each one of them and took a pair of my oldest blue jeans and put them over the broomsticks where they hung over the boots just like somebody was on the pot. Then, I hate to admit I did this, I couldn't do it now. I locked the door and crawled out from under the stall and went back to my office. Now, I want to say this, I would love working with custodians, but they are nosy. And I knew good and well it was going to get them. About an hour later, one of them came in my office and said, Mr. Oz, did you know one of those construction workers had been on the pot for over an hour? I said, an hour? What's going on? She said, yeah, he's been in there in the stall for over an hour. And when I went out, all four custodians were standing at the door as I went in. I went in and said, whoa, he has been here a long time, has he? And I kind of let it go in a little while before I let them in on the prank. I guess I had to crawl back under and open it. And they took it very, very well. But I've always enjoyed a good prank. And so those two are I guess my two favorite April Fools pranks that I've told. And I hope you enjoyed them. So once again, have a happy April Fool's Day from us here at the Creek Bank. Thank you.